Grand Inquisition is here.
His injuries appear chaos inflicted.
Gee, I just beat up a demon, the prince.
This charge?
Captain Titus has been corrupted by chaos, Inquisitor Thrax.
I am no heretic.
You lie! Only an agent of chaos could withstand such warp exposure.
Or
I
no.
sent the demon to oblivion.
But did you have unholy assistance?
He's probably a no.
Must know. You will submit to my authority, Captain.
And he'd be well within his right to blow his head off.
Must conclude that you have corrupted every ultramarine under your command.
Every ultramarine under command could kill everyone there.
Stand at your side.
Ignore his threats. Come on.
The Inquisition will destroy you, Mira. And the Ultramarines will be forever dishonored. Leave my brothers and the Lieutenant alone.
Lieutenant.
I will come with you. I do not know why I can resist the touch of chaos, but I swear I will discover the truth.
We will discover many truths, Space Marine.
Codex Astartes leaves no room for doubt. You cannot touch the warp and emerge unscathed.
Unless you're a null.
Codex Astartes is a set of rules. They guide us, shape us as Ultramarines, teach us to hold duty and honor sacred above all. But how we live with those rules is the true test of a Space Marine. And you have failed.
Oh yeah, Caligar's gonna want to have some words with Leandros here. And they're not gonna be pleasant. As an aside, there is a canonical Inquisitor Thrax. He was possessed by a demon. And those Black Templar there are wearing the colors for Neophytes. They don't wear power armor. I believe Relic is giving us a hint that something bad has just happened and it's Leandros' fault. Unfortunately, there will be no Space Marine 2. About 30 employees from Relic got laid off recently, and, well, it's not looking good for everybody else. Pretty much everyone left is either working on Dawn of War 3 or Company of Heroes at this point. Hopefully THQ will be able to survive long enough to see that even being something close to reality. Dark Millennium being retooled from an MMO to a RPG. Graphically, it probably won't look impressive, but it seems to be the spiritual sequel to Space Marine, so seeing it continue the storyline, hopefully, or at least in some small degree, would be nice, but the game ended well enough on its own. I don't think a sequel is absolutely positively necessary, even though it'd be nice. Brian Wood here was killed in a car accident a little while ago. Sad. About the game itself, really enjoyable game. I didn't expect it to be much more in the click spam game. There's actually a lot more strategy to it than that, especially on the higher difficulty levels like hard, where I'm constantly dying, running around, and trying to do everything all at once. The ranged and melee combat are really well done. It is completely seamless. You don't have to hit different buttons to get different ammo types or attacks out. You can just click a different button and there you go. It's really the game's strength is how quickly you can switch from one to the other. Not really noticeable terribly much on hard, because a lot of times you're going to be sniping at enemies, and then when whatever's left, you end up chopping them to bits rather than running at them, shooting them a whole bunch of times, and then meleeing them to death. Sound was also really good. They finally got bolters done really well. Dawn of War, they sounded like, steam escaping from a vent. Dawn of War 2, much better. Still not there, but this game, yeah, they sound like gyro guns now, finally. Voice acting is always, superb for Relic. They didn't use their regular list of talent here, Mark Strong being his only hero role as far as I'm aware. Probably threw a lot of people expecting him to be the villain, and technically by 40k standards he actually is. It's quite sad, really. things I didn't like about the game, it's a bit short, and it jumps into the main plot action a little bit too early. They needed to build up the orcs a bit more than what they did. The Inquisitor line started way too early. It should have started at about halfway through after you've been dealing with the orcs for quite a long time, really built them up as a threat. As is, they just kind of come off as a background event. It's pretty much the standard 40k plot line. Orcs attack, something happens in the background, you forget about the orcs, they only kind of become a passing distraction. Dawn of War 1 wasn't particularly bad about it, making it very, very clear the orcs were overrunning absolutely everybody all at the same time, even after you killed the war boss. Anything else I'd change about the game? To keep it the same, I just, lengthen it out a bit. To change it, I'd have to either drop orcs or chaos. It just seemed to be too busy towards the end. You had a, few perfunctory scenes with the chaos and orcs fighting each other, but not a whole lot. And then you dealt with the war boss, and well, that's the end of the orcs right then and there. Nice, but I think they just went about doing things too quickly. I know they mentioned they had to cut a lot of levels because a lot of the playtesters were finding it boring. That's probably why it feels that way. They probably would have been better off going straight with chaos. That way you introduce multiplayer factions and everyone understands very early on what's going on, and getting particular things they like about the game that'll cross over into multiplayer. And here it doesn't quite work that well. Anybody just skipping straight into multiplayer will not have any clue as to what chaos is, or who the loyalists are, or who anybody is until about halfway through the game, and even that it's not described terribly well. It's pretty much assumed that you know who's what. Even new people probably found it somewhat confusing. It wasn't really explained all that well. Didn't help that they again had to split the time between orcs and chaos. Beyond that, really quite a good game. As usual, Relic standards of excellence. Unfortunately, this looks like it's going to be the end for them. The THQ is just about finished. 30 employees gone from Relic, 100 from THQ in general. If they last past June, minor miracle. I know Darksiders 2 is coming out. I wasn't really impressed with the first one. That's probably just being a very bad PC port. The button combinations in particular you had to pull off for certain things were just ridiculous. And the engine itself I wasn't particularly enamored of either. Even though this runs on the same one, this is looks much better and runs much smoother and has a lot more options. This has resolutions I never even knew existed, while Darksiders just has pretty much the standard lineup and no other options to change anything. It didn't help that the gameplay was boring, and they really didn't fix mouse and keyboard terribly well. You often just miss things without even really trying to, as the camera swings about wildly. Maybe they'll fix it with Darksiders 2, but I think that's just going to be console out for a while. Hopefully they can pull in enough cash to last just a little bit longer, and hopefully get Dark Millennium out, and then Dawn of War 3 where they can start pulling in some decent cash again. I'd like to see a Space Marine too, but if Dark Millennium picks it up, they probably won't continue with it. I know there was a lot of RPG elements that were initially advertised that didn't make it into the game for a variety of reasons. Combi weapons I can see not making it, principally because they just override the main function of the principal weapon that it's taking the combi part of. I think they intended to have more of a ranged melee line like Dawn of War 2 did, but probably cut it out as, well, this is a captain, he's been around for 200 years. It wouldn't be realistic for him to go into combat as a level 1. It is a bit silly. I will be putting up a poll for the next Let's Play to do. I'll be dividing up into games I haven't played, and therefore would probably be really good Let's Plays, games I've played heavily and would be really bad because I already know everything. A lot like this game, I can't really make any witty comments because I already know what's coming on. Games that are just too freeform, like Stalker, Dwarf Fortress, and Minecraft, really just way too open-ended, require a lot of audience participation to even make worthwhile. And even then, I don't think it worked terribly well. The Stalker, I don't run with that many frames per second, so I don't know how well it would record. I do have a lot of games though, so I'll be posting up the full list in probably a couple of days or so. I'll try some video editing out as well. I'll also have a video of all the missing Servo skulls out. I've backtracked and found most of them I appear to have hit a bug, and 2 of them will not pop up regardless of what I do. Apparently, if there's any other audio going on at the same time you listen to the skull, it won't pop up, it won't record. Barring save state editing, I don't think I'll ever be able to get that particular achievement. One of them was just past the Iron Halo, and yeah, it's definitely not there. Another is in the tunnels into the Inquisitor's lab. Both are very visible, but they're clearly not there. And I did find the one that was in the last level is behind a Chaos Havoc on a floating platform that was in plain sight that I managed to walk straight by. And I'm going to be kicking myself for that for a very, very long time. Some long credits. This should be done sooner or later. I might try to do some more multiplayer videos, but my internet's been cutting out at random instance, and I don't think that'd be the best idea. I'll try fidgeting around with a router and see if that'll work, but who knows. I wonder how many of these people still are employed there. I don't think there's anybody left running the official forums anymore. Most of them got canned. I think Gorb's still around, but he's not an employee. I'm sure everyone's getting sick of the looping animation of Titus killing the same 3 orcs over and over again, but I'm sure they're either very durable or very determined, probably both. They've got to be out of people at this point in time. I know they drag on for a long time. They should be almost over at this point. This many people could not have worked on the game at all. Okay, this has gone on long enough. Most of these people weren't even directly involved in this game. That's enough of this.